If you've been watching my channel for a little while, you may recall at the end of February I purchased some yarn from Aldi. I put a video up called "A Yarn Snob Spends £10 on Yarn in Aldi, What Happens Next?" And I knitted this little swatch. And I have this yarn left to use, and I thought it would be a really good idea if we could actually see if it holds up to some knitting, some washing, some tumble drying. So what I'm going to do, I've got everything ready. I've found this free pattern on Ravelry called French Macaroon. I will leave it linked in the description box for you. This is what the adorable little pattern looks like. I'm going to knit a newborn jumper, and I'm going to use this lime green and the cream for my contrast colour. I've got a project bag, I've got my needles, and I'm ready to go. So I've been knitting for about an hour and 20 minutes, and this is what I've done. I've decided to go for the 3 to 6 months age group actually. No, I haven't. I'm going for the 6 to 9 months age group, yes. The yarn is okay to work with. My hands are a little bit sore. You can see where I've got a little bit going on with my finger here. It's a bit sore, been rubbing away a bit. I'm getting used to knitting with double knitting yarn. If you know me well, you know that generally I prefer to knit with 4-ply or fingering weight yarn, or even lace weight yarn. So DK is a little bit interesting for me, shall we say. My tension isn't brilliant in this garter stitch. I'm hoping that with blocking it will sort itself out. I do like the colour. I do like the density of the fabric. One of the modifications I'm making to the pattern, because the front and back are knit separately, you cast on sleeves, you cast on extra stitches to make the sleeves in a little while. The modification I've made to make it easier for me to join together at the sides is slip one purlwise with yarn in front at the beginning of each row, and it just gives a really nice finish. Yeah, so I will come back when I have finished knitting the garment to give you the pearls of wisdom that I may or may not have. So I have finished the front now, and I need to put these stitches on stitch markers. It has taken me about 4.5 hours or so to get to this point. And my thoughts on the yarn, well, let me just get this stitch marker on. These are sleeve stitches here, and I haven't read the pattern through fully, but I guess we're going to do some kind of grafting or 3-needle bind off at the shoulder when I've done the back. The back piece is exactly the same as the front. I've quite enjoyed knitting with this yarn. Gosh, I might have been better getting waste yarn, because I don't think my stitch holders are going to be big enough. I've quite enjoyed it. The cream seems a bit softer than the green, and I don't know whether it might be the dyeing process that the yarn's gone through. I don't know. I'm not entirely happy with the tension. That's my knitting, I would guess. Yes, I will be interested to see what it looks like when I've blocked it. Let me just get these last few stitches on, and then I'll hold it down flat for you to have a look at my knitting. It has been a very intuitive knit, this, and I'm doing the 6 to 9 month size, just in case you're interested. So just do this up. And just lay that flat. Can you see that there are some inconsistencies in my ridges, but that's probably more to do with me than it is the yarn, and I'm hoping that when it's blocked it will be a little bit better. But I'll come back to you when the garment is finished and I've sewn it together, and then we will do some washing and see what we think then. So it is finished. I've got loose ends to weave in. I've joined the shoulder seams. I think it was a 3 needle bind off, and I need to sew the side seams and sew the sleeve seams, weave in all the ends and find a little button for the back neck. But I'm quite pleased with this. Obviously then I'm going to block it and wash it and tumble dry it. So it's all finished now, it's all sewn together, and I'm just going to pop it in the washing machine. So it doesn't look like it's shrunk in the washing machine. It doesn't feel very wet. Everything else is. Maybe that's what acrylic does. But I'm going to pop it in the tumble dryer now and we'll see what the results are after that. So this has come out of the tumble dryer. I have to say, washing it and tumble drying it has softened it a little bit. What I should have done was measure the finished item and see whether it shrunk. I don't think it has. I'm not entirely happy with the way I've sewn those sleeves up, but it's for a 9-month-old baby boy. I don't think he's going to be, no, actually the baby boy is only 3 months at the moment, if that. I don't think he's going to be very critical of my sewing up skills, is he? Although his mother might be. But yeah, I've got the original here, so we can see that there hasn't been any colour fade. So what I'll do now, I'll show you my ugly mug and I'll have a little talk about what I've learnt through using this yarn and what my thoughts are going forward. So my final conclusions. Let's start with, am I still a yarn snob? I think most definitely I am still a yarn snob. I like my expensive yarn, and I'm sorry, I don't make any apology for that. Obviously, we have to cut our cloth accordingly, don't we? I don't buy anywhere near as much yarn as I used to, and I'm much more mindful in my purchases now. I try and think of projects that I want to knit and source appropriate yarn, rather than thinking, oh, that looks nice, I'll have that. And yeah, I don't have the time to go. I used to, like in school holidays, go on pilgrimages to places that I knew had got yarn shops. I just don't have the time to do that anymore. But let's get back to this. I'm really happy with this little sweater. I still haven't blocked it. I wish that I had taken the original measurements to see if it has shrunk in a tumble dryer. I don't believe it has. And as I said in the last little clip, I think that the washing and tumble drying process has really softened this yarn. It smells nice as well with the fabric conditioner that I used on the rest of the wash. It's not the best knitting I've done, whether that is the yarn, whether that's me. I think it's probably me. As I just said, I don't think the colour has faded on this. I can't say that I 100% enjoyed knitting with that yarn. It was, for me, quite harsh on my fingers and quite drying on my fingers, as I said. Having said that, I will be less afraid of buying yarn from Aldi in the future. I'm going to be interested to see as we head into autumn and winter whether they've got any Aran weight yarn, because I really want to do the emotional support chicken. I want to knit one for my mum's nursing home, or knit a couple actually, because I think for the on mum's floor where her room is, there's really wide corridors and there's little seating areas with little tub chairs and things, because not everybody's bedridden like my mum is. And I thought, you know, could dot a couple of little emotional support chickens around. And obviously I don't want to be spending a lot of money on yarn because the chickens might go missing there. So I'll be interested to see if there's any Aran weight yarn in the winter. I think these yarns are perfect. And yes, I think if I've learned anything, when you are knitting for babies, I mean, particularly newborns, this is really soft actually after washing. They grow so quickly, don't they? So it would be a really good purchase for children, for babies. they grow quickly, they get dirty, they get mucky. This is obviously washed really well in the machine. What I should have done is make it dirty and see if the stains came out in the wash. So yeah, I wish I'd done that. I think the other thing that these would be really, really good for, as I said in my original video, and I did get a little bit of kickback on that, was if you're charity knitting, absolutely perfect. Perfect for blankets. I think I made a comment about it'd be good for, you know, you could knit blankets for homeless people, homeless shelters, and someone said, aren't they worthy of expensive yarn? Well, yes, they are, but if you're knitting for charity, you don't want to necessarily spend all that money, do you? So I think for charity knits, absolutely perfect. I think the final lesson that I've learned is that I don't have to be afraid of buying budget yarns. Budget does not necessarily mean cheap and nasty. And recent purchases that I've made for some toy projects, and I think these would be good for toys, as I say, if they, yeah, I'm getting off on a tangent. These yarns from Sheep G's, I'm going to knit some toys by Louise Crowther. I think this is £3.49 a ball, and this is 80% cotton, 20% acrylic. So I think the acrylic is going to give it strength. It's going to give it, I don't know, integrity, I guess, because cotton can be really difficult to knit with. It hasn't got a lot of give, has it? It has no elasticity. So I think the acrylic will help a little bit with that. And it also gives it a little bit of a nice halo, almost as if it is a woolen yarn. And then this is 100% cotton. This is the Sheep G's Katona, and that was £2.49 for is it a 50 gram ball or a 25 gram ball? Can't tell. So I am not afraid of buying budget yarns anymore. If you have found any value in this little video, I'll be really, really grateful and appreciative if you hit that like button, if you shared and subscribed, and I'll be back soon. I'm working on a knitting for Olive. We've gone from the Sublime at £1.29 a ball to knitting for Olive at a good £8, £9 a ball. First time using it, very much in love with it. Stay tuned and keep an eye out for that video, and if you are not subscribed, hit that bell so you know when I next upload. Do take care, and whatever you're working on, put love into every stitch. Take care. Bye now.